Hello, we're back to our regularly scheduled introspection. Today, I wanted to talk about the idea of always preparing for the future and not thinking/ living in the now. Does tomorrow ever come is a question I've been pondering recently. I'm someone who is constantly worried about the future, so much so that every spare dollar goes towards tomorrow. Whether that be investments, a wedding, a house, I feel that there's always going to be something that is going to cost thousands of hours of my life and that I'll never be caught up. I think this speaks to the sort of pressure that young people are feeling now. I wish I could say that I'm immune to that anxiety, but truth is, I'm not. I feel that I can do everything right and it still might not be enough, which I want to say hasn't been the case for previous generations. I'm a little envious of this, but ultimately know that this is more of an individual battle. Coming from homelessness, money was my only motivator for quite some time. Now I've finally gotten to a point where I'm somewhat comfortable for the first time in my adult life. And I've noticed that my priorities are starting to shift, which is terrifying. But it's also weird. I've never been at a point where I don't want my life to change, yet I don't want it to stay the same. My professional life is what has inspired me to go down this rabbit hole. At work, I'm practically being begged to take a promotion, but it would be a salary job, and the pay isn't much better than my hourly rate now. Add that to not being paid time and a half for overtime, and going into a season that is very uncertain and very busy, I'm leaning towards rejection. Despite this, I think it would be a good stepping stone for my career, and I would be doing less physically demanding work, but I don't think that I would have the passion required. The 50 to 60 hour weeks would take away time from priorities such as school and my family, while also taking away from my free time. Things like YouTube, fishing, video games, reading would all have to get pushed to the side for something that I don't enjoy. If I do say no, then it would be the first time in my life where I haven't taken an opportunity, which I feel conflicted about. Is this a good thing? Am I finally at a point where I can prioritize my happiness, or at least start? Or is it a bad thing? Am I slapping my younger self across the face for not taking the opportunity that he worked so hard to give me? Am I not setting myself up for tomorrow? And should I? I don't know, which made me want to ask the larger philosophical question of, does tomorrow ever come? My priorities are always shifting. By putting happiness in goals, there's only temporary joy. Once you hit one milestone, it's on to the next, and the next one, and the next one, and, well, you get the point. This line of thinking isn't new. Philosophers like Aristippus and Aristotle have gone over the ideas of hedonic happiness, which is essentially pleasure and enjoyment, and eudaimonic happiness, which is basically human flourishment and purpose. I think my point is a dumbed down version of these ideas. In theory, I have a lot of purpose, a lot of it coming from my job, which is charity work, but I still feel the need to seek purpose in other ways, such as creatively through this channel, which I think is a good thing. I'm glad that I'm not complacent. I'm glad that I'm actively trying to do more, and that I want to do more, which is ironic because I love to be lazy. Despite this, I still don't know that I'm truly happy. I'm grateful for how my life is going, and a younger me dreamed of being in this exact scenario, but it just pains me that this younger version of me envisioned this tomorrow and worked so hard to allow me to see it. But here I am, and I'm just focused on the next day. A harsh realization to stumble upon, but I think that my issue is greed. I think growing up in a capitalist society that we are bred to want more. I tell myself that all I want is X, then when I acquire it, I'm not fulfilled. I tell myself I'm not greedy, yet I always desire more. This is especially true of myself financially. I still like to give back, but I don't do it as much as I probably should. I just wonder if my goals now will match up with the goals I have decades from now. If I were a betting man, I'd say they probably wouldn't, despite what I currently want or think. Once I have no more worries, will I have new ones? I apply this thought process to the history of humankind. As society grows more complex, their problems do as well. Not super thrilled that I get to have the problems of existential dread, but I am glad that I don't have to spend my days hunting woolly mammoths with sharp sticks. I wonder how many of our ancestors got to see tomorrow. A lot of my goals aren't inherently selfish, but I'm kind of wondering if they should be. I'm wondering if I should focus more on today. Am I living life correctly? Am I a fool for saving all this money for retirement? Should I be more outgoing? Should I go experience the world while I still have the energy? Will I ever have enough? Will I ever truly be happy? Will I ever see tomorrow? These are all questions that I have to ask myself, and I wish that I had the answers to them. Let's put the pessimism aside. I think that tomorrow will come. It hasn't yet because I know I am capable of more. Maybe this is why I haven't reached enlightenment, because I know that I can be more. I'm moving the goalpost because my journey isn't over. Yeah, you've hit some goals, but what is the point of trying if there's not something else to achieve? Maybe I'm lucky for this to be my Sisyphean task, to have the honor of being challenged, to have the privilege to be able to reach for something unattainable, to have the gift of being just bright enough to know how lucky I am, to aspire to be more, not just for me, but for everyone around me. Maybe tomorrow will come, maybe not, but I think that this is my best path forward. There is beauty in not knowing, but there is also fear. I think that this is a true yin and yang situation. I think my main takeaway is that planning for tomorrow is good and something that I should keep at the forefront. But I need to be more grateful and recognize that while there might not be a tomorrow, there certainly was a yesterday. I'll still interview for that job, but maybe my answer is no. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to start saying no. Maybe it will make me more passionate because I'll be doing things because I want to, not because I have to. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and thank you for listening to another ramble.
Let's go. Yo, that's actually crazy. You actually just clutched that shit like crazy.